I'm Mike. This video shows how I built a backgammon board from scrap materials I had in my shop. All good projects follow a plan. Size matters, and the size of the checkers determines the size of the board. Materials are your choice, but you'll need contrasting colors. I'd also use a good wood glue. A summary of dimensions is coming up. Well, let's go. Good luck. I was using 1x6 stock. That dictated my point size. Half points shown here, which there as the name implies. You'll also note the dividers both laterally and vertically. You have some latitude on size there. You'll just change the overall size of the board to compensate for any differences you have there. There's a note to all math wizards that not all of my measurements come out exactly. This picture shows all the pertinent dimensions. Pause the video if you want to copy them. Except for the backboard, cedar and pine are the only two types of wood that I used on this project. I used a planer, a chop saw, a drill press, and a table saw for the major cuttings in this project. Use what you need, use what you have, but use them carefully. I'm ripping this cedar beam to obtain a 1x6 board. I'll use the 1x6 to cut out the points. You'll note that I had to pass the beam through the saw twice to make the cut, as my table saw blade is not quite long enough to cut through that beam in one pass. Different thicknesses. We'll fix that with the planer. I use the planer to ensure all my 1x6s are the same width and depth. That's really crucial in making a smooth board surface. Next, I set up my chop saw to cut the points. Note that I've set the cut angle at 7 degrees. 7 degrees on a 1x6 cut gave the proper base width for the points. So in other words, if you're using a 1x6, this is probably the right cut for you. If you're using a wider or a narrower board, you'll probably use a different degree angle on your cut. A bit of sanding ensures a tight fit. Get used to it. These are the required 12 cedar points. Now on to the pine. I cut 32 points and 8 half points from the pine board. 20 of the pine and 8 of the half points will be painted black later on. More sanding. I told you to get used to it. Now it's time to do some final fitting before paint and glue. There are many different ways to ensure a square frame, but I felt this 2x4 fixture was the easiest way for me. It also provided a rigid place to fit all the board pieces in place. While waiting for glue to dry, it's time to do a little bit of painting with some black paint. Still waiting for glue to dry, paint too. Might as well make some checkers. I used a 1 1/4 inch hole saw as its inside diameter cuts the 1 3/16 checker. Remove the drill bit unless you want a hole in the checker. The glue on the frame was finally dry enough to where I could go ahead and install the backboard. Once I get this on, then we'll wait some more. Now it's time to fit all the final pieces. This includes the spacers, and then the checker storage comes in. Oh, did I not mention the need for a dado blade? Oh well. Once we've determined that all of our pieces fit, time for the final glue job. It's a little bit messy, but it's a necessity. Now that the points and spacers are glued, it is important to apply a constant even pressure on them. Otherwise, you'll end up with an uneven playing surface. And that, my friends, is experience talking. More sanding and more painting. I told you, this time it's the checkers. Polyurethane time. Felt pads to protect Mama's kitchen table while we're playing. Here's the finished product. We need dice, Dublin cube, and shakers for the dice. Ordered those online. I've left this picture up for your review of the dimensions. You can make this thing your own size, larger, smaller, whatever suits you, whatever materials, and whatever colors. Hope you got something out of this. Thanks.